distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, good to be along with you. Happy Father's Day to everyone. I am back in the studio. It's my first time in this building since June, I don't know when. 3rd, I think. Before the NASCAR race, I stopped by and dropped something off and picked something up, and then went to the track and then headed to Italy on that Monday morning for a nice vacation. So good to be back. And I got 2 pieces of mail. That's it. That tells you where we are today. Everything. I got about 5,000 emails, but 2 pieces of mail. One of them is Ball Watching, a St. Louis City SC podcast. They sent me a nice glass. Here, Drew. Here you go. That's for you. Yeah, I'm re-gifting. Here, take that. That's for you, buddy.
We had one last week. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That is fantastic. Yeah, I want you to have that. That's fantastic. I love that. Second piece is Goners is the cover of Cardinals magazine. So I'll tell you, the Cardinals, what the heck happened? I mean, it just continued while I was gone. I did pay attention to everything. I read everything. I didn't get to watch or listen to games necessarily, but I did read up on everything every single day, every game, and it is tough to handle. And I do feel for Cardinals fans having to deal with that. And they're just great fans. They're great fans. They're great fans, Drew, because of number one on the list. Number one, they love baseball. That's what comes first with Cardinals fans. They love the game. So they appreciate good baseball. They appreciate winning baseball, and they appreciate when the Cardinals are good. And the Cardinals right now are not good. And but fans come in at every level. They might have come in yesterday. That could have been their first game and saw the team win 5-3, and so they're 1-0. They could have come in 20 years ago when the Cardinals went on a remarkable run. Actually, before that, really, in 2000, the Bill DeWitt era, the Cardinals had one losing season. That was 2007. Otherwise, they've been fantastic. And John Mozeliak's never had a losing season. They might have come in 1980, like me. I came in the early 80s and got to see great baseball. So I was not there for the 70s as a kid. I was born in 75. So I got to see great baseball in the 80s. And then a bit of a dip in the 90s, and then back with this resurgent 2000 until the present day. They might have come in 1960 and witnessed an incredible run in the 60s, the greatest Cardinals team of all time in 67. And, the 64 amazing team in 68 who was equally as good as 67 and all of those great years. My point is Cardinals fans come in and out at all moments. And it is an incredible group of people of all backgrounds and shapes and sizes and ages, and it is very, very special to be part of. And so that is why sometimes it's hard, because they're very passionate when things don't go well. And you just have to ride the wave if you're a Cardinals fan. And sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it isn't so much fun. But know that the seasons do come and go quickly. Hopefully the Cardinals can rally here in what is very much a subpar division, but it's going to be very difficult for them to do. I mean, just to put it out bluntly. And then you try to figure out what's next for the team. What's next in the immediate future is a 12:40 start today against the Mets. And you just continue on in that way. And then you have to figure out, why did this go wrong? What went wrong? Why didn't they address this or that? Why didn't this happen? And try to make it better. But, the standards are very high around here. And the Cardinals are number one on the list in making it so. They have established this themselves. This is the place where championships are won. They've won 11 world championships. They're going after a 12th. So there is nothing other than, if Cardinals fans are upset, it's for one reason and one reason only. We win championships here. And the Cardinals are trying to win a 12th. That's the pursuit each and every year. It is not easy to do. And it's understandable when they get close. Right now, they are not close. And so fans are rightfully passionate and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Totally understand that. All right. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is, before we get to Oli Marmol, the Cardinals manager, is Father's Day. Father's Day is a very special day for us dads. Sitting there and looking at my kids this morning and knowing that we have two girls age 16 and 12 who are doing so well and healthy. And I just, love every second that I'm there with them. I'm very appreciative of that. I think every single day about my dad. I lost my dad almost 30 years ago, and grieving is love. It never stops. You don't stop grieving a loss. It's because you love, and it comes in different levels. At different levels. The level that I'm at right now is that I'm approaching the age that my dad was 54 when I lost him, and I'm going to be 48 next month. So I start to reflect on fatherhood and making sure that I'm there for my girls and doing what he taught me. So that's what I think about on this Father's Day, is how fortunate I am to have had a great relationship with my father and that he did such a great job raising me. I lost him, unfortunately, to a heart attack when I was almost 18. And that said, the lessons that were taught in those 18 years built me to who I am, along with my mom and family and friends and all the people that have been around me. But my dad played such a huge, huge part in my life and still does. Like, here I am, 30 years later, and he still is part of my life. So just know, dads out there and sons and daughters, how much of an impact that you have on another human, and the important role that you play from birth all the way through on that person. So that's an important thing to remember, I think, for all of us on this Father's Day, is the roles that we play in each other's lives, and the patience that we give each other, and the grace that we give each other, and the support that we give each other, and knowing when to cheer and when to push, and all of those things that happen. It's an amazing job. It's a great job. And when it's all said and done, I agree with what Vin Scully said years ago, that he said, I want to be remembered not as a broadcaster, but as a dad and a husband. And I think those are wise words from one of the greatest ever. And we're going to hear from another one of the greatest ever, and that's Jack Buck, coming up on this show, his tribute to baseball and to fatherhood. That, of course, is played every year on Father's Day on this radio station. We will do that on this very show, Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX, sponsored by Gray Bar. We have Oli Marmol, the Cardinals manager, standing by from New York, the Cardinals and the Mets. We have DanReardon watching the US Open, Los Angeles Country Club. We have Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director, St. Louis City SC. We have John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations of the St. Louis Cardinals. We have Cardinal pregame at 11:45. We'll get to it right after this.
All right, St. Louis, imagine you're a young Joe Buck getting ready for a pregame interview with the Tony La Russa.
When he goes, why don't we, I'll let you ask me questions today. We'll see how that goes. And then tomorrow's a new chapter.
Listen to the full interview with Joe Buck on the PBP, Voices of Baseball, a new Odyssey podcast featuring conversations with the greatest announcers from around the game. The PBP, Voices of Baseball, available now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit
JerryKelly.com? Can you imagine being free again?
You're free again.
A songbird in a crystal sky.
A dolphin in the Caribbean.
A puppy exploring a big backyard.
You escaped the handcuffs of the junk that held you captive.
You escaped because you called 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have the secret sauce, they don't. In fact, if their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Steve All of the All Financial Group doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. He'll develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824 for your personal portfolio x-ray. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC are separate companies.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It's good to be back in the studio and good to be back with Cardinals manager Oli Marmol. Joins us every Sunday at this time. Good morning, Oli.
How we doing?
Doing well. I want to keep this somewhat brief because I know that we're getting close to game time. So I really appreciate when you do this on the East Coast. It is much appreciated. So let me throw that out there. Yeah.
No worries at all, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. First and foremost, I wanted to say that. Secondly, I wanted to say Happy Father's Day. You are a great dad. And I don't spend time with you at outside of baseball, but I know this for fact because I can hear it in your voice and I hear it when you talk about your family. Happy Father's Day, Oli.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. They'll be able to meet me here in Washington, and I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome. Did you ever get to Little Mermaid?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes,
okay.
I did. That was the off day.
Yeah. The off day after that long, it was like 19 games in 19 days or something like that. How was that? Tell me about that.
It was actually pretty good. The 3-year-old and the 5-year-old sat through the whole thing, enjoyed it. They've watched the old one, so being able to see the new one, they were looking forward to it. So I'm glad we were able to line that up for them on an off day. But no, the family enjoyed it, man.
That's awesome. Taking kids to the movies, taking kids at that age anywhere, you've got to be ready for anything, don't you? And it is so satisfying when they're happy.
No doubt. These little ones are a little different in the sense of they're on our schedule, big league schedule. They go to sleep at midnight, wake up at 10, and they're out and about quite a bit. So they're used to the just nonsense, and they're always going. So it's been fun.
Wow. Yeah, that's something. Does that help you, whatever happens during the day, that you're able to catch up with them at night when you're able to?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why the wife kind of does it, because I get home after the games and they stay up for a little bit, get to hang out with them before they go down. And then when we wake up in the morning, I get a little bit of time with them before I head to the stadium. So at the moment, that schedule works for our family, which is pretty good.
Nobody writes the handbook to being a parent. You just sort of learn it as you go. But how do you think you learned how to be a great father? How do you think that was passed down?
Man, I grew up in a really good family. My mom and dad were awesome. Didn't come from a whole lot. And I have 3 older brothers, and they did everything possible to make sure that we had an opportunity to just give us the best chance to be able to do what we do today. And we had an interesting childhood and living in a couple different places, including Dominican Republic, and they moved here in order for us to be able to pursue our dream of being in baseball, but also getting an education. And so I'm grateful that they were great models as to what that looks like from a marriage standpoint. And I'm appreciative of that, as well as what being a father looks like. So that's I had a pretty good model there for sure.
That's awesome. And in our business of baseball, you think about all these moms and dads that are driving their kids from town to town and getting equipment and getting them where they need to be on time. It is really special what our parents have done for us. But also when you think about, growing our game, just sending it out to the moms and dads out there right now, but on Father's Day, especially the dads in this case, how much you mean to those kids. Just, it is important to sit back sometimes and understand that you are helping grow this game.
No doubt. And we were talking about it even with the staff this morning. And the reality is, man, a lot of these guys, our staff, all have kids, and you miss so many birthdays and so many different events. And so it's good whenever they're able to visit on the road, or you get some downtime at home to be able to spend with them. But definitely a lot of credit to all the staffs out there in the game, because it is it's an interesting industry, and you got to make the most of it and make sure that you involve the family as much as possible.
Absolutely. You got a bunch of great dads on that team. One of the most famous ones spun himself quite a game yesterday. Adam Wainwright went into the seventh inning for the first time. That was pretty good.
Yeah, he did a nice job. And first pitch, leaves the yard, and then he settles in and does a really nice job of giving us a shot. And he was good. He battled through some innings, got some ground ball double plays, and made some pitches when needed. But got us deep enough where the rest of the bullpen could come in and do their jobs, and that was fun to watch yesterday.
Yeah, he was really good. Your relievers came in and held it for him. Palante got a big ground ball to get that thing settled. And then skipping ahead, Jordan Hicks. I mean, Gio also. I don't want to skip over Gio because Gio's had his bumps in the road, but Jordan Hicks, goodness gracious. I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but he looked like a closer to me. He was outstanding.
I mean, a lot of growth from Jordan over the last several months, and this is a guy that has created some habits away from the field, at the field, in order to allow himself to be more consistent, and we're seeing that for quite some time now. He's been really good for us. And last night, that was electric. I mean, he came in there, hit the first batter. Second guy, Gourmet, kind of right at his feet, almost hit him, but then was able to calm down, settle in, and attack the zone and punch him out. But overall, that was really good to see out of Jordan. It's something we're going to need moving forward.
Yeah, Guillorme was in there for Lindor, who became a dad. So that's another story intertwined, in this entire weekend. And Hicks got through that opportunity and got the job done. And the Cardinals even that series, and now have a game today. And here comes another young player, Matthew Liberatore. When things aren't going well, you, I think, have to go with what you have, and it's either who's there in that clubhouse or who down in the minors can help us. And Liberatore had to be one of those guys. How has he been able to deliver in that way?
He's adjusting well. We got to remember he's young, and he's going to continue to make adjustments and develop at the highest level. But he's taken to it well, and he's showing flashes of what he's capable of doing. And our job is to continue to hone that in and allow him to do that for consecutive innings and put together quality starts. And he's more than capable of doing that, but he's done a nice job, and we're looking forward to him being on the bump today.
He will be on the mound today as the Cardinals get going at 12:40. And the other one, there are a lot of young guys in this, but the other one I wanted to mention is Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker has hit in 10 straight games. This is the third longest hitting streak in baseball. Shohei Ohtani has hit in 14 straight. Mookie Betts has hit in 11. But then Mike Whitty sent us this note this morning that Walker has now achieved 2 double-digit hitting streaks in the same season. He's the third Cardinal aged 21 or younger to do that. The other ones are Albert Pujols and Rogers Hornsby. Wow.
He's doing a really nice job, and he's settling in. I was able to sit with him for quite some time 2 days ago and just kind of get an idea of where he was mentally and emotionally and physically. And this is a guy that's continuing to make good adjustments. He's going to have to do that his entire career, but he's taken to it well. Mentally, the game's starting to slow down for him. And defensively, he's working hard at it. He's out there with Willie every day, working on different aspects of his outfield game. And he's going to continue to improve. But he's admitting that, hey, the game at times can get quick, and I'm doing a much better job of being able to slow that down. And the more he's out there, the more at-bats he gets, the slower this game will get. But he's doing a really, really nice job at the moment.
Jordan Walker and the Cardinals getting ready to take on the Mets. I'm going to keep you just a couple minutes more. And you are the manager of the Cardinals, and one of the reasons, actually the reason the Cardinals put you in that position and decided that you're the best man for the job is that you could do a lot of things. You could deal with people like me in the media, and you have to do that a lot. You would be able to communicate with the front office on analytics and understand that how that is streamlined into the game. You'd have to be able to understand the game itself, and you've been around the game a long time. But the other one is communication with players. And that's an important aspect of it. Being able to manage 26 guys is no easy task. They're all different. What I wanted to ask you is, when things are like this, when things aren't going well, and you have player meetings, what are those like, and how do you do more than one in a room? Do you speak to them individually? Does it depend on the situation with all these different people you're managing?
No, it's a really good question. It depends on the situation. I would say if I were to list the qualities of why I hold this position, it's my ability to be relational. Like the one reason I do this is to be able to have relationships with these players and communicate clearly and make sure that we're getting the most out of them. And that's what drives me. That's what you wake up every morning in order to do. But it depends, man. Like over the last couple of days, I've sat down with quite a bit of our young guys and some of our veteran guys and just be able to talk to them about where they're at. And some guys are just wearing this in a way where they're putting pressure on themselves, and you communicate in a way where you want to instill confidence in them and speak life into them and make sure that they understand who they are and what they're about and how to go about it in a way that could remove some of that pressure. And it's typical with the young guys. They experience a little bit of failure, a little bit of adversity, and they're not sure how to plow through it. But that's the fun part of the job. And one thing that our staff does well is the ability to sit down with these guys, have a conversation, and make sure that they understand that they're here for a reason. I mean, yes, there's a lot of strategy to the game and analytics, and we've talked about that for hours, but the reality is we're dealing with humans that operate best when they know who they are and they're playing with confidence. And that's what you're striving for every day when you show up. So that's the part I'm passionate about. That's the part I love. And we'll continue to do it. And this is where it's needed. It's easy when things are going well. It's easy to lead. It's when it looks like this and there's no real answer for it, and you're having to plow through and stay the course. And that's where leadership matters. So we're wired for this, and we'll figure out a way out of it.
Your lineup today: Donovan Goldschmidt, Arenado, Gorman, Walker, Carlson, DeYoung, Kisner, and Edman. That tells me that Carlson was able to, well, he had an RBI single yesterday, but he was able to shake off whatever was nagging him, his elbow.
Yeah, he wasn't able to throw. He was able to pinch hit yesterday. He's doing some stuff as we speak, and I'll get final word if it's a go. But my hope is he's able to stay in the lineup and play right field today.
Gotcha. Appreciate the time very much. We'll let you get back to it. Thank you for the visit, and happy Father's Day, Oli.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Oli Marmol, Cardinals manager, with us on KMOX. They've got a tough task ahead trying to get back into this thing. We'll see what they do today. And as he said, they go back on the road, and that London trip is fast approaching. We will be following that, of course, rather closely. They play tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Washington. Then they get 2 days off again as they travel across the pond, as they say, to London to take on the Cubs Saturday and Sunday next weekend. We'll go to the West Coast, Los Angeles Country Club, with DanReardon, and we're going to keep an eye on the U.S. Open as it will start. I love when the U.S. Open, I love when any majors played on the West Coast, because then we get some night golf. That's coming up next on KMOX.
Hey, it's Bo for Reinhold Electric. You know how you can tell Reinhold Electric is the right electrician for whatever your job is at your home or your business? Is because you see Reinhold trucks everywhere. They're on the roads, they're at the airports, they're at homes, they're at businesses. Heck, I was on my way to Minnesota about a month ago, and I saw Reinhold trucks in the middle of Iowa. If you need an electrician, call on Reinhold Electric. Their number is 314-631-1158. That's 314-631-1158 at ReinholdElectric.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Cut up six-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to keep it out of waterways and oceans. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
For 75 years, Caritas Family Solutions has proudly dedicated itself to enriching thousands of lives through tireless service to others, caring for children, empowering adults, strengthening families, nurturing new life. 75 years of creating healthy relationships, loving homes, and strong communities. Because this is more than our life's work. It's a calling bound by a legacy of love. Go to CaritasFamilySolutions.org to learn more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. After an injury, you need someone you can trust to explain and carry you through. At Underlaw, we know what it's like to face tough times. We know how hard it can be to see a light at the end of the tunnel, especially when you're hurt, struggling to make ends meet, and overwhelmed by our legal system. We're not only on your side, we're by your side every step of the way.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com for more information.
This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes is proud to announce they sold 30 homes in the first quarter and will donate $1,898, $1,898 the year they were founded 125 years ago, per home to Cardinal Glendon Children's Hospital. They call it Homes for Health. That's a total of $56,940. You can learn more about McKelvey Homes and all of their single-family, multifamily residences and more at McKelveyHomes.com.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
10:33 on KMOX. Good to chat with Oli Marmol once again, Cardinals manager. Always better after a win, that's for sure. And good to talk with him. John Mozeliak in an hour. Joining us right now is Dan Reardon, our senior golf editor. We've been doing this a long time, talking about the US Open and other majors. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing fine, Tom. How about you?
I'm doing great. Los Angeles Country Club. Boy, everyone has an opinion about LA Country Club, it sounds like. What do you think so far about this exclusive club hosting the U.S. Open? How have they done?
I was concerned the first day because the scoring was so extreme, but I think they had a little bit of wet conditions. The course has stood up very well to the field the next couple of days. Artistically, I think it's a great success. You've got a wonderful leaderboard. You have compelling stories through a number of players. So I would give this a thumbs up in almost every category, contrary to maybe what Brooks Koepka has said.
Yeah, Brooks Koepka said a couple of things. I think when Brooks is either joking or trying to be lighthearted, he comes off as serious. And when he's trying to be serious, he comes off as serious. Like you just have to, when Brooks says something, everyone seems to react. But there you go. He's the PGA champion after all, and he wins a lot. So what he says gains a lot of traction. Wyndham Clark, however, jumps in last night, and I believe it was last night, and said he doesn't like these late starts, that he had trouble seeing the ball. In fact, I heard the commentators on NBC saying when Ricky Fowler was approaching 18 that it was hard to see out there.
And it has been the plan all along that the Sunday tee times will be earlier, and they are quite a bit earlier. So quoting St. Louis Times, the leaders, Clark and Fowler, which we the last group out, will go off at 4:30 St. Louis time. And I believe it was 6 something when they went off last night. So they won't be dealing with daylight issues. But that was purely a television decision, and it's a television decision in terms of the East Coast. They wanted to have that broadcast into that part of the country go late into the evenings to try to lock in an audience. And it was, the one thing you have to know when you're watching a tournament on television, the cameras will adjust to the available daylight, and it was considerably darker than people saw it on TV.
That's for sure. Meanwhile, yesterday I did watch, and there was some drama there at the end. Wyndham Clark is able to get himself up and down after a very difficult shot fell off the green. Then on 18, he hits the flagstick and still has some meat left. He's got to knock down that putt, and he does, fist pumps. And then Ricky Fowler misses his 3.5 footer, which I can relate to. I've done it a million times. But it's the U.S. Open. It's 18. It creates a little drama here with McIlroy and then Scotty Scheffler going crazy down the stretch. This is going to be a good Sunday.
And that's why I think, this course stands up particularly well. Yes, it gives up good scores. Tom Kim shot 29 on the front nine yesterday and then came back with a 2-over-par 37 on the second nine. At Erin Hills, when they set all the records, the 4-day records for a U.S. Open championship, nobody ever went backwards on that leaderboard. Nobody ever bogeyed holes. They just made birdies or pars. Here, as you see, when people get in trouble, they get in serious trouble. No better example than the first hole yesterday was Xander Schauffele hitting 3 shots out of the bunker on the very first hole. So I think a good golf course is one that rewards and punishes, and LA Country Club rewards and punishes. And Tom, I go back 20 years ago or so when I played there. I thought it was a wonderful course at the time, and the setting is unparalleled in the game of golf.
Absolutely. I am really blown away by Clark and what he's been able to do here. And now I'll really see what he's made of against these big names. But Wyndham Clark, if people are wondering who he is, been a good player. And then he comes out and wins his first PGA Tour victory earlier this year, the Wells Fargo. And that changes things, doesn't it, for a player? You can just see the confidence and the fire in his eyes.
And fire is really a good term. And he was asked about, the reaction to the second shot that he hit in on 9, where he gave the club a decided twirl. And he said he said, no, that's the way I am inside, but I'm generally not that way outside. But he is a pretty intense individual. And you have to understand, he may be new to this position on the leaderboard, but he's no youngster by any means. He's been out there for a number of years. Took him a long time to get that breakthrough win. And now that he has it, he will be a legitimate, although tested unknown on this leaderboard. By the way, Tom, you always look for a St. Louis connection, and there actually is a St. Louis connection in the final group. After his round yesterday, Ricky Fowler was asked about the water container that he carries all the way through the golf course. And he said, he does that because it forces him to drink water, and he needs to do that throughout the day. And he was asked about the stickers, because there are stickers on that. What's his favorite sticker? And his favorite sticker is a light bulb. And that light bulb, he said, was for a St. Louis brewery side project that he thinks is a pretty cool place. So, at least one brewery has a positive endorsement going out there on their product.
Oh, I like that. Side project's unbelievable. Side project is in Maplewood. And it, look, I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I'll say it's in the photo for best in St. Louis. It is unbelievable, but it's small and exclusive. And I think people come into town just to hit some of our small places like Side Project. I like that a lot. This is going to be fun to watch. It certainly is. That said, I will admit, I mentioned Koepka. I personally like Koepka because he won the PGA Championship here in St. Louis, and I enjoy having some. He's not that he's a villain, but he's different than everybody else. I like his mentality. Maybe this comes from watching Full Swing and kind of getting invested in what he's dealing with mentally. So I kind of like Koepka. I used to really like Dustin Johnson, and I will admit that since he went to LIV, I've changed my view. And I know that the two are coming back together, PGA Tour and LIV, and I probably should get over it, but I still have, maybe I'll get through this, Dan. The players that left, I'm going to have to warm back up to. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the case for the players as well. They are friends, but there's animosity that still exists. There's a little resentment that still exists. So yeah, it'll take time. The key to that will be, what are the terms of readmission for these players that left to go to LIV? And if those are acceptable to the remaining tour players, I think it'll be a short-lived kind of honeymoon that they will have when they get back. But like I said, those factors need to be determined. And I talked about stories, Tom. Obviously you would expect the top 4 to produce this winter, although we know this golf course gives up great scores. So the guys that are sitting a ways back think they can go out and put up a number. But I think the most compelling stories out there are both Fowler and McIlroy. McIlroy is the most accomplished of the group and has the 4 majors. But, for Hollywood, for a Southern California guy, Ricky Fowler winning this, coming back from the kind of adversity he's faced over the last 4 years, I would think would be exactly a Hollywood ending. I don't know that he's really positioned to do that. He's been backing up every day in terms of his scores. So I'm not sure that he can deliver the goods, but I think the Ricky Fowler story, and he said yesterday, he said, one thing I can tell you, he said, I know what disappointment feels like. I know what failure feels like. I've learned that over the last 4 years, and I'm not worried about going out tomorrow worrying about failure. I'm going to just go out and play golf. And I think Ricky has hit all the right notes in his post-tournament comments.
I like that. That's really good. I have a lot of feelings for Fowler in that way. And again, I'm, not supposed to be rooting for somebody necessarily, but it is a great story without question. Fowler's kind of like the Blues and McIlroy's like the Cardinals. McIlroy's won the championships. When is he going to do it again? Before the Blues won their cup, obviously. That's Ricky Fowler, and he's got a legion of people kind of pulling for him. We'll see what ends up happening here. I got to say, though, I mentioned DJ at 5 under. Schauffele got out to a blazing start, and he's 5 under. They're not out of it necessarily, and neither's Harris English. I mean, he kind of hung around. He shot 30 on the front to finish off a 66. I mean, he's right there, isn't he?
Absolutely. Like I said, the statistic would say that you're not going to come for more than 3 back in most cases. But then all we have to do is look at last year, a come from behind winner, and Matthew Fitzpatrick, who wasn't playing in the final group. But yeah, I would think that you could, given the quality of those players, the Johnson, the Schauffele's, the English, I think you can look at people at 5 under and say the 2 leaders at 10 under are going to be under enormous pressure to even stay at that position. That if you could go out and throw a really strong number at the field reasonably early, you could deliver the goods. And by the way, there is that other odd connection that the final group are both Oklahoma State golfers. And in fact, Ricky Fowler sort of big brothered Wyndham Clark when they were at Oklahoma State, because it was years apart. And they actually are putting with the exact same putter that Clark asked Fowler about his putter because he practiced with it one time. And he loved it so much, he went to the manufacturer and said, I want exactly the same specs on my putter that Ricky Fowler has. And they're both putting with the identical club.
Wow. They got that big grip. I don't know. Does that help? I guess.
It negates the hands. It reduces wrist action. And Fowler was always a good putter. It's sort of interesting that he's gone to a little bit of a crutch in this circumstance.
Interesting stuff. Dan, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the U.S. Open, and we'll hear a couple of your reports tomorrow morning on Total Information AM.
I enjoyed it, Tom.
Thank you. I also wanted to bring in Nick Ragone of the Ascension Charity Classic, who is on the line. And Nick, I wanted to ask you, by the way, happy Father's Day. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah, this is wonderful. Listening to Dan's conversation, I love that St. Louis connection, by the way. And I think this is one of those U.S. Opens where somebody could come from behind in the pack. There's a lot of birdies on this course and a lot of bogeys, but I look at DJ where he is. I actually like that spot a lot. He gets out early. He can go 30 on that front nine. That front nine is very gettable. I wouldn't be shocked if he puts up a number. And so I think it's going to be one of those Opens. It's going to feel more like the back nine at the Masters, where there's a lot of birdies, a lot of eagles, and a lot of bogeys.
Absolutely. I mentioned Harris going 30 on the front nine. That was in round 2. He certainly is capable of doing that again. So this is going to be a lot of fun here in this final round. I wanted to bring you in because I personally haven't had a chance to chat with you about the PGA Tour Live unification, let's say, although we're not really sure what the parameters of that are.
Exactly. The term is, it's a merger between the PGA Tour and the Public Investment Fund. So it's not a merger between the PGA Tour and Live. And I know it's semantics, but it's not. Live as a brand may or may not live on.
Right.
So what the tour is doing is they're forming NewCo. They haven't named it yet. And it's going to be the PGA Tour, which is going to then get investment from the PIF, the Public Investment Fund, which is Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. And then underneath that NewCo will be the DP World Tour. The PGA Tour is still a nonprofit, a 506c3. And then maybe or maybe not the Live brand or some other form of that. So, and I think that's important because for me as a PGA Tour partner, the first thing I thought about when I saw the announcement was, is it going to change the tour's non-profit status? Because as you know, Tommy, we created this event to give back money to charity. We set a record amount in the first 3 years. That's the whole point of it. And so The answer to that is yes. The tour itself will stay nonprofit, but there will be a new co, which is going to get an infusion of money from the Public Investment Fund. And I think the PGA Tour is going to have to, Dan said, we need to see details on this. I don't have the details. Nobody has the details. And so it's yet to be determined. But the most important thing from my perspective is that the tour properties like PGA Tour champions stay in nonprofit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of what you're doing here is to help St. Louis and North County specifically. Nick Ragone with us, and while I was overseas, I read your column, well, Ben Frederickson's column that he wrote about you and about the PGA Tour champions and everything, but also the Ascension Charity Classic, and you painted also a positive picture in that there's a chance some big names could be coming to St. Louis.
I mean, one of the things, and I agree with your and Danny's conversation was interesting about, you having to warm back up to DJ. And I, in talking to some of the players, I don't think there's as much animosity among the players as there is in the media. The DJ and Phil, they still play at Grove 23 with Rory and Brooks and all those guys. They see each other. But for me, the Champions Tour, potentially, not this year, but next year, Phil will be eligible again. And Lee Westwood, by the way, who turned 50, and he's a major star. And so it really comes down to what does the reapplication process back to the PGA Tour look like for guys who renounced their membership? And guys like Phil, who not only renounced it, but sued the tour and has said a lot of derogatory things. I think his path back, Tom, is going to be different than DJ's, who didn't sue the tour, who didn't say a lot of derogatory things, who's well-liked, Cam Smith too. So there will be a process, but the net is that, look, for the game of golf itself, this schism hurt, right? Having a global schism hurt. For the PGA Tour champions, the potential to have people like Phil and Lee Westwood, and by the way, Ian Poulter turns 50, and Sergio and Martin Keimer, a lot of big names that are going to turn 50 soon. And so having that schism solved is a good thing. But at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is, does the tour remain a nonprofit? The answer to that is yes. Am I able to give all our proceeds back to charity? The answer to that is yes. Are they going to still invest in communities and title sponsors who are committed to underserved communities? The answer to that is yes. Now, we all want to see the details, and there are no details yet on this because they had to do the deal in secrecy to get it done. And I understand that. And, unfortunately, Jay Monahan is now out on medical leave, and we wish him well. But we need to see details on the plan going forward.
Really interesting perspective. I know that you are involved in a lot of those back channels and understanding what's really going on. So thank you for that. I appreciate it, Nick.
No, thank you. I enjoyed the conversation with you and Dan. It's going to be a great Sunday, Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, including you, Tom.
Thank you. Good to hear from you again. Nick Ragone, Ascension Charity Classic, with us on KMOX. It's 10:49. Back right after this.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Carol Daniel for Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I have learned over the years as a homeowner that it's not always the best idea to work with a company that uses a lot of subcontractors, that outsources a lot of their work. Chesterfield Fence and Deck has all of their own equipment, their own tools, their own trucks, their own professionally trained installation crews. They even operate out of their own warehouse, and they have a large showroom as well. There's a reason they say, Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, because you do get the very best in knowledgeable project consultants, the very best design. You'll get a free in-home estimate and no obligation, and a free project design. Visit with them, set up your next project, your pergola, your cedar deck, your bronze aluminum fence, and you will get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. 636-532-4054 or online at chesterfieldfence.com.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Convenient, free in-home estimates. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
There's never been a better time to get that engagement ring or fine diamond jewelry. Right now at Diamonds Direct, our most exciting offer ever. You can get instant savings up to $5,000 off any purchase or enjoy special financing for up to 5 whole years. Either way, you save big. You can't miss this limited time offer. Design your perfect ring and get our most gorgeous and most flexible financing options. Now through June 30th at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
It's the great American pastime, baseball. It's not just a game invented for athletes who can run from home to first in 4 seconds, or throw a ball 90 miles an hour, or hit a ball over the fence. It's a game made for kids and played by kids, and those who still have a lot of little kid inside them. And it's more than just a game. More than anything else, baseball is memories.
Like the corners of my mind.
Memories pressed between the pages of my mind. It's Lou Gehrig's farewell speech at Yankee Stadium, echoing in the minds of everyone who was there.
I consider myself,
or wishes they had been there,
on the face of the earth.
It's Bobby Thompson's dramatic 9th-inning home run against Brooklyn, and the memory of Russ Hodges' play-by-play. It's every kid who ever went to bed with a transistor radio tucked beneath their pillow, listening to the game, and pretending to be asleep when their parents came in to check on them, before the parents went to their own bedroom to finish listening to the game. Even more than all that, it's our own memories of our own field of dreams. We are all Kevin Costner playing catch again with his departed father. That's why, to me or any other baseball fan, the story isn't about baseball or cornfields or a wish come true. It's about family. The real pull is father-child. Throughout this century, baseball has grown into a painless means of bringing abrasive generations together smoothly. Remember how much fun it was to hit your dad's pitching and watch while he chased the ball? It's not often the parent does the chore for the child anymore. As a teenager, it was a relief to use the ballpark as a demilitarized zone during generation gap hostilities over politics, grades, clothes, cars, haircuts, music. As a young adult, talking baseball was a reliable way to cut through long absences and put a homecoming on solid diamond-hard ground. Now, as we become parents ourselves, the force of these signposts can be doubled as we go through the same drills with our children. There is certainly something unique about baseball that produces these happenings. The father-child bond could be welded over cards or car mechanics. What is special about an activity like baseball is that so many families have been tied to it for so many decades. It has been and still remains the most common denominator for most of us. Remember the kid who was so thrilled to get his first baseball bat at Christmas? He couldn't wait to take it outside and play Pepper. He held it as carefully as a Nintendo joystick, took a couple of practice swings, and clicked on a smile that would light up an Iowa cornfield at midnight. Then he fungoed an easy grounder to his old man, who was wearing a battered catcher's mitt given to him so many years ago by his father. Baseball is the smell of leather, the crack of the bat, the bumpy cushion of grass, and the roar of the crowd. Hot dogs, beer, soda, popcorn, peanuts, Cracker Jacks. It's the souvenir pendant of your favorite team that still hangs on the wall. It's the voices of our childhood companions filtering through our pillow from that transistor radio. The list is a litany of men with that talent for letting us see in our own mind what was happening on the field. Red Barber, Ernie Harwell, Vin Scully, Harry Carey, Gabby Street, Bob Prince, Lindsey Nelson, Joe Garagiola, Kurt Gowdy, Ned Martin, Ray Scott, Bob Elson, Gene Elston, Jack Quinlan, Earl Gillespie, Jimmy Dudley, Jack Ramey, Mel Allen, Jack Brickhouse, Graham McNamee, and even our 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. What made all these memories was the sum of all those baseball sensations, divided by two. A father and his child. There is still nothing anywhere to beat it. I don't know about you, but I'd give anything to play catch just one more time with my dad.
Hey, Dad!
Has your garage been a sore spot, a sad sight, tired of seeing a space that you can't even really use? Hello Garage will elevate your garage to an entertainment space. Visit us online at hellogarage.com. That's hellogarage.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle. That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
Now, your Live Nation lineup. Don't miss these upcoming shows. Ryan Adams, Enterprise Center, July 1st. El Monstero, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, July 8th. Foreigner, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, July 19th. Guns N' Roses, Busch Stadium, September 9th. And Aerosmith, Enterprise Center, October 26th.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Carol Daniel for PNC C-Speak, the language of the executives. Steve Mackin, president and CEO of Mercy, joins us on our latest podcast. He shares how the challenges of providing healthcare to a diverse landscape of large cities and small communities has resulted in innovations across the Mercy footprint. PNC C-Speak shares the stories and pioneering approaches of successful business leaders, so you hear ideas that spark growth in your business. Listen today at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
The Flat Roof Company. If you have leaks in your commercial or industrial flat roof, there is only one company to call, The Flat Roof Company, because they have a great reputation and provide excellent service at great prices. Call The Flat Roof Company at 314-995-2700. Flat roofs are all they do.
KMOX KECK HD2 St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis. This is KMOX, always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Wendy Gillette in Dallas, where the mercury will soar close to triple digits this week, but it's even hotter in some parts of the South.
Heat indices in the 110 to 120 range when we get to the peak temperatures this afternoon.
National Weather Service meteorologist Marty Roush.
Certainly very dangerous conditions for anyone who's outside for any length of time.
Severe weather also hit parts of the plains, including in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held talks with his Chinese counterpart in Beijing. The U.S. says they were candid and constructive and that China's foreign minister will visit Washington. Blinken is the first Secretary of State to visit China since 2018. 2 people are dead and 3 others hurt in a shooting at an amphitheater in Grant County, Washington. The gunman is among the injured. Kyle Foreman is with the county's sheriff office.
The shooter continued to shoot randomly into the crowd, and the suspect was eventually taken into custody.
There was another shooting in a Chicago suburb overnight. Police say 19 people were hurt and 1 killed at a Juneteenth celebration in a parking lot in Willowbrook, Illinois. GOP presidential contender Chris Christie is going after former President Donald Trump following his federal indictment.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who is challenging the former president for the GOP presidential nomination, says Trump brought this on himself.
We would not be here if Donald Trump had simply returned the documents the dozens of times the government asked him to return them.
And Christie tells CBS's Face the Nation that's not all.
Instructing his lawyers to lie and to obstruct the government from getting those documents back. There's some very disturbing conduct.
Christie adds Trump had no right to keep any of those documents under any law. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
West Virginia basketball coach Bob Huggins has resigned. CBS's Matt Piper explains why.
Bob Huggins, the West Virginia University men's basketball coach who was recently suspended and took a pay cut after using a homophobic slur during an interview, was arrested for allegedly driving while intoxicated. Police say the 69-year-old was driving a black SUV in Pittsburgh, though it was stopped in the middle of a road blocking traffic. The driver's side door was open and the vehicle had a flat and shredded tire, say police. Field sobriety tests were taken, which police say Huggins failed.
Pope Francis was out of the hospital and back in St. Peter's Square this Sunday.
A quanti nei giorni del mio ricovero al Policlinico Gemelli.
He thanked everyone for their well wishes while he was recovering from abdominal surgery. This is CBS News.
Hiring's a lot easier with Indeed. Their powerful platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have mostly cloudy skies and 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story: in about an hour, Mayor Tashara Jones and police are planning a news conference. This is to discuss what happened overnight downtown. 10 people under the age of 18 were shot. 1 of them died, 9 others hospitalized. The mayor says she's been briefed by Police Chief Robert Tracy about the, quote, heinous act of gun violence that occurred at Washington and 14th around 1 this morning. It's unclear at this point what led to the shooting. 20 people were wounded overnight during a suburban Chicago parking lot gathering. 1 person has since died. The DuPage County Sheriff's Office is in charge of the investigation. There was a Juneteenth celebration happening nearby. How are KMOX political strategists Hancock and Kelly feeling about the frontrunners for 2024?
Democrat Michael Kelly said on Total Information AM Sunday that Joe Biden needs to get some Republicans to cross over.
He's running against Donald Trump, which it appears that it's going to be. He's going to also have to remind people of the 4 years of chaos that was Donald Trump and hope that rational Republicans come to his side, which is what we've seen in polling. It's what we saw in the previous election.
Republican John Hancock said Donald Trump still appears to be the anti-politician in the minds of some, while others just like his entertaining style.
Not only did he reshape the party, he reshaped the party's electorate. He brought a lot of people into voting Republican who had either never voted Republican before or who had never voted before.
Both Kelly and Hancock repeated their beliefs that if it comes down to a Biden versus Trump rematch, that is Biden's best path to victory. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
There was a rooftop rescue at the Chick-fil-A restaurant in St. Peter's Saturday, all for a good cause. Firefighters from the Cottleville district were passing the boot for MDA. Kelly Dunkel talked to our partners at Fox 2 News.
For many, many years, over 35 years here at Cottleville, we have been collecting money to help our partners with Muscular Dystrophy Association, helping kids and adults with muscular dystrophy.
The firefighters had to stay on the roof until the donations reached $22,000, which they did. Temperatures staying around where they are right now for the rest of the afternoon. Maybe some rain or a thunderstorm. That will continue into tonight with a low of 67. More humidity coming for tomorrow and Tuesday. Highs in the mid to upper 80s. It is 81 in St. Peter's, 82 in Florissant, 80 downtown at the Arch under mostly cloudy skies. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
All right, coming to you from downtown St. Louis, and then we go to New York. 11:45 pregame. We'll actually hit that break at 11:40. Drew, as you know, we'll hit. That'll go out of John Mozeliak. That's called a hard out in our business. John Mozeliak has a hard out of 11:40. So we'll talk to him at 11:30. The Cardinals president of baseball operations is 24 minutes away. Before that, Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director, St. Louis City SC. They lost 3-1 last night to Nashville. We'll discuss that and more. They're going to have to turn around and play right away. So we'll talk all about what's happening at City Park in downtown West with Lutz in just a bit. We have Cardinal baseball today at 11:45. 12:40 is the first pitch, as I mentioned. And just in from the Mets, Pete Alonso has been activated from the injured list. So that's why they didn't post their lineup right away. I saw the Cardinals lineup. I'm like, where is the Mets lineup? Oh, well, they hadn't announced Pete Alonso yet. There he is. So the Mets lineup looks like this. Brandon Nimmo, who led off the game yesterday in the bottom of the first pitch home run off Adam Wainwright. He's leading off playing center field. Starling Marte's in right field batting second. Francisco Lindor is back. He is the shortstop. He bats third. Pete Alonso is the first baseman batting fourth. Tommy Pham is the DH batting fifth. Francisco Alvarez is the catcher batting sixth. Jeff McNeil plays second base. He bats seventh. Eduardo Escobar is at third base batting eighth. And Mark Canha is the left fielder batting ninth for the Mets. The Cardinals lineup looks like this. Brendan Donovan will play first base today. He's the leadoff hitter. Paul Goldschmidt, the DH, bats second. Nolan Arenado, the third baseman, batting third. Nolan Gorman is at second base. He's the cleanup hitter. Jordan Walker, who has a 10-game hitting streak going and homered yesterday, he bats fifth. Dylan Carlson is the right fielder. He bats sixth. Paul DeYoung, the shortstop, batting seventh. Andrew Kisner will catch. He bats eighth. And Tommy Edman is the center fielder, batting ninth. The pitcher today is Matthew Liberatore. He goes against the Mets lineup that I just mentioned, so it's going to be a tough challenge for him. That's a good lineup as they go for a series win, and the Cardinals go for a series win. Carlos Carrasco is the right-hander facing the Cardinals lineup today. He's 36 years old, 2-3 with a 5.71 ERA. Liberatore checking in with a 1-2 record and a 5.14 ERA, and he is a youngster. He's only 23 years old, but the 6'4", 200-pound lefty will face the Mets today in another challenge. I think you're going to hear from Liberatore for a long time. I think he'll be part of the mix here moving forward for the Cardinals and their rotation. Wanted to talk before we take a break about David Freese. David Freese is a Cardinals legend, first and foremost. He had, let's just play it. Come on. We can't talk about David Freese without playing the moment. There were actually two of them. There were actually several of them in the 2011 postseason. It wasn't just Game 6. But all you have to say in Cardinals Nation or anywhere in St. Louis for that matter is Game 6. They will know exactly when, where, what sport you're talking about and who you're talking about. Game 6 of the 2011 World Series. The Cardinals down to their last strike. David Freese.
David Freese. Swinging a long one into right. Get up, baby. Get up. Get up. It's at the wall. It is off the wall. 1 run in. Here comes Burton. Over to third goes Freese. We're tied 7-7. How about that? Unbelievable.
Josh Hamilton hit a home run in the 10th to put the Rangers up 9-7. The Cardinals climb back in the bottom of the 10th. RBI by Theriot. RBI single down to his last strike, Lance Berkman, tying the game. And the Cardinals made their way through the 10th and set up David Freese leading off the 11th.
3-2 delivery on its way. Swing and a high drive to center field. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. David Freese has just sent us into game number 7. This series is tied 3-3 with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 11th inning. The Cardinals win it 10-9. Unbelievable.
David Freese was put on the ballot by the Red Ribbon Committee. I am honored to be on that group with a number of writers and broadcasters and Cardinals Hall of Famers. And Freese was chosen by the fans. He was the top vote getter to get into the Cardinals Hall of Fame online balloting. However, he informed the team, and the team announced it yesterday, that he has chosen to withdraw his candidacy for induction on August 20th. Despite his decision to decline his Hall of Fame induction, Freese plans to remain an active member of the team's alumni activities and fan-related events, says the team. He does a lot of things, makes appearances, goes to fantasy camp, etc. He makes his home in Austin, Texas, and he released this statement. This is something that I've given an extreme amount of thought to, humbly, even before the voting process began. I am aware of the impact I had in helping the team bring great memories to the city I grew up in, including the 11th championship, but this honor means more to me, said Freese. I look at who I was during my tenure, and that weighs heavily on me. The Cardinals and the entire city have always had my back in every way. I'm forever grateful to be part of such an amazing organization and fan base then, now, and in the future. I'm especially sorry to the fans that took the time to cast their votes. Cardinal Nation is basically the reason why I have unfortunately waited so long for this decision and made it more of a headache for so many people. I feel strongly about my decision and understand how people might feel about this. I get it. I'll wear it. Thank you for always being there for me, and I'm excited to be around the Cardinals as we move forward. Then Bill DeWitt III had a statement. Although we're disappointed that David has declined to be inducted into our Hall of Fame, we respect his decision and look forward to celebrating his great Cardinals career in other ways going forward. He is always welcome at Busch Stadium. So they're going to induct Jose Oquendo and Max Lanier and not David Freese. If you read his statement, and by the way, we did invite David to come on this show at this very time, and he politely declined that. I've known David for a long time. We had a little chat about that, and he's decided that statement right there is enough for now. There could be a time where, of course, we're going to have him back on the station at some point, but right now, it's pretty new, and that's the statement. But if you read the statement, if you really look at it, it's about the fans. He was basically set on not doing it. I don't belong in that group of people, is what he's saying. But the reason it took him so long was you, the fans, because he knows how much you love him. You voted for him, and he wanted to do it possibly for you. But ultimately, he's decided not to do it. And I respect that 100%. First of all, that he took such a long time to think it through and to think about it. And, of course, we all consider David Freese a Cardinals legend. The Cardinals don't win the World Series without him. It's one of the great clutch performances that anyone wearing that uniform has ever had throughout the postseason. The Cardinals are waving the 11th World Championship flag out there basically because of him, among others. But I respect that, and I also know that David has been through a lot of ups and downs in his life. He is at a very good place in his life. He is married with kids, and happy Father's Day to him. He has a wonderful wife, Marin. They live in Austin, Texas. He has done an amazing job in his life, and there were times it's documented. You can read about it if you want to, about the struggles that he went through while he was playing here in his hometown. There were days that he didn't want to get out of bed. There were days that he struggled with the success. It was hard. So to not know exactly what a person is going through, sometimes I think you have to give it time and to understand that he put everything he could into that decision. And whether he's wearing a red jacket or not, he's considered a legend without a doubt. And I'm certain that for the rest of time, you'll be hearing that highlight. And also you'll be seeing tributes to David Freese throughout Busch Stadium, Ballpark Village, Cardinals Nation, forever and ever. Also, he'll never buy a meal in this town again. We will take a quick break. We'll come back, talk some soccer. Lutz Pfannenstiel is with us, the sporting director, next.
Now, Y98 presents 90 in 60, a look back at the St. Louis City match against Nashville SC, presented by Ponce Health Sciences University, creating new pathways and careers in healthcare.
Here's a cross, Perez gets ahead to it, Mukhtar loose change, a shot and a goal. The 28-year-old Hani Mukhtar with his 11th goal of the season. What's he got? He's going to point to the... Oh, yeah! It counts! We are tied. Oh, baby. Mukhtar, right foot, bangs it into the corner. Goal for Nashville. Berkey guessed right, almost got fingertips on it. Final score, Nashville 3, St. Louis City 1.
This has been 90 in 60, presented by Ponce Health Sciences University. Up next, St. Louis City faces Real Salt Lake this Wednesday. Pregame at 7, kick at 7:30 on Y98 St. Louis.
Aspiring to be a doctor? Didn't score well in the MCAT? Gain all the confidence you need to succeed at Ponce Health Sciences University. PHSU west of City Park on the corner of Jefferson and Market prepares students for every aspect of a medical career. A Master of Sciences in Medical Science degree. An MSMS from Ponce prepares students for the coursework, the time commitment, and the rigor for a future in healthcare. Learn more at stlouis.psm.edu. That's stlouis.psm.edu.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show, and we welcome in the sporting director of St. Louis City SC, Lutz Pfannenstiel. How are you, Lutz?
Hello.
How are you?
No bad.
It's good to hear from. Yeah, it's good to hear from you. I watched the match last night. Let me get your thoughts first and foremost. Losing 3-1 to Nashville. How good is Nashville, and how did St. Louis respond to them in your estimation?
Yeah, I think obviously Nashville is a good MLS team. They are very well organized. They're difficult to play against. They're physical. And I thought we had all the answers, to be honest, even though it was 3-1, especially in the first half, you couldn't really see any difference whatsoever, even being away from home. And yeah, they punished us with the first real mistake. We fought our way back. I thought after we conceded, we played a really good first half. And in the second half, they brought on a player with lots of speed that changed a bit the momentum of the game. And in the end of the day, there was lots of decisions in the game, which I would say they're worth a discussion from the officials, which obviously had an impact on it. But that's not an excuse. And in the end of the day, I think after getting pretty quick 2 goals against us, it was difficult to come back. But we don't have much time really to get our head in there, and of course we need to analyze. But it's only 3 days, and we have another very important home game against Salt Lake. So it's just about to figure out what went wrong, to also look at it what we did well in the first half, and we have to move on.
I always like to hear what Berkey has to say. I was not there last night. As I mentioned, I watched it, but I did read what Berkey had to say. And he was asked if the game showed the importance of Blom and Leuven. And he said, I don't use this as an excuse because I think we had the guys in who did really well. But like I said, the first half, we had control over the game. We have players who aren't here at the moment, but it doesn't help us. Neither is it the time to talk about these guys, because I'd rather talk about the guys who were here. Do you agree with that?
100%. I mean, we could of course have a lot of chat about our players who are missing, and that's a fair thing to do. I mean, that's Blom is an international player, and with Klaus and Leuven, we're missing two DPs plus Joachim Nielsen haven't even played a game yet. So there was probably 4 of our top players are missing. But we only can really deal with that what we have available on the match day, And the guys who stepped in had a good game. I mean, I think we did figure out in the recent weeks that we found a formula also to score goals without Klaus. And of course, things will get better and easier for us when everybody's available. That's the whole thing about to have a good squad. But I think, what Roman said there is true. I think it was a performance where we should not just hide behind the players who were missing, and realize what went the right way, what went the wrong way. But I think that it was not a disappointing performance from our side. I think the guys who came in, they did their job. And Mukhtar, obviously, he's at the moment, without any doubt, the best player in the league. I think he has the quality at the moment even to play in the German national team. He scored 3 goals. One guy, and of course it was goals where there was always an individual mistake before. What happened, of course, that's also part of the game. But there was lots of teams dropping points and losing games away to Nashville. It's not the easiest place to go to, and that's what happened yesterday.
Well, you're right about Mukhtar. He is a special talent without a doubt. Do you see, and now, Messi's coming into the league, are you anticipating that we will have more Mukhtars to come, that you're going to see exceptional talent continue to make its way to the United States in Major League Soccer?
Yeah, I think the Messi signing, of course, is a big statement from the league and from mine. It's the one of the best, or maybe even the best player of all times being here in the MLS. So I think that definitely makes the league even more attractive. It makes it very appealing for top players from all over the world. However, how long it will take, I think it's still a big challenge for the MLS to simply, when it comes to challenge the Bundesliga or the English Premier League or La Liga, also with wages, it's not that easy, especially with having a salary cap. It's not like in the European leagues where it's a complete open market. So we do have that salary cap restrictions where we need to be smart within the spending. But definitely, I think the Messi signing is a special move, a special statement. And yeah, I think there's only one Mukhtar, but I believe that some players of that level will come sooner than later into the MLS.
That's a really interesting perspective, and I appreciate it. St. Louis City SC put it on Real Salt Lake the last time they played, 4-0. That was back when you were on your opening season tear of a run. Now you get them again, as you mentioned, a quick turnaround, June 21st at home. What do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, we know the team. They know us. The first time when we played them, I thought, especially the first half, Salt Lake, where they had chances. They could have been 1-0 up, and we had that really, really good first 20 minutes after the break where we scored our 2 goals, and then we were cruising. But Salt Lake is a team which is always difficult to play. They're disciplined. They have a few really good individual players, and they showed it yesterday, going to DC, winning 2-1. So they do come definitely on an emotional high, and they won't come to St. Louis just to lose the game. But we need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe in our home form. We did very well the last home games, and I think it's also coming now from that journey from Nashville, not picking up any points. So there is I would call it a healthy kind of pressure there again for us to perform. And yeah, we need to believe that every home game is winnable. Every game you go away is winnable, and that's how we need to get in there and just really believe in our own philosophy, to believe in our playing style, to believe in what we do, and then I think the fans, the crowd will help us a lot. It will be a beautiful, warm Wednesday evening with a big crowd, which will be again pushing us. Having said that, I can't even thank the fans more than yesterday. They gave us again an unbelievable support away to Nashville, traveling all the way out there. You saw lots of City Red in that yellow stadium, and you sometimes even felt we played at home. So the support we get there, it's breathtaking. I can't be any thankful than I am, and also the players realize that, the staff is realizing that. So that's one of our biggest and most important advantages we have is that we do have that support. We have that momentum with the people really pushing us, believing in us, and that's something in the long term which definitely pays off.
That is well said. I could hear them through the radio and the TV. The fans were really coming through. It was great. You are at the top of the table in the West, along with Los Angeles, each with 29 points. Lutz, you have 9 wins, 2 draws, and 6 losses. You have played 17 games. We are exactly one half through the season. I had a visit the other day with Carolyn Kindle. We were recording a commercial together, and we were just kind of chatting about you, how much she enjoys the relationship with you and with the rest of the staff. Just halfway through the year, the overall experience with this ownership group and St. Louis City SC, what has it been like?
Yeah, the owners have been fantastic. Just really believed in what we're doing, supporting us, and also really enjoying the moments. I think that first half season now, and as you said, we are right now there at the half break. I think, I look at it a little bit with a bit of a split emotion, to be honest, because we had that unbelievable start, all the records. We also had a little dip in between, and we came back, and when everybody thought now finally that the expansion team breaks into pieces, we had a very good run at home, picked up some points. Before the season, you would have told me we are first in the West and we have that many points. I would have been super excited. But then again, there was some games where I thought we deserved a little bit more, or we could have done maybe that tiny bit better to pick up another point. Like, for example, the LA Galaxy game, that 2 extra points, they could be normally now already there, visible in the table, but we just couldn't really finish that game. So there is still a lot of work to do. We know, I think we all know that everybody in the staff, every player on the field, there is lots of things where we can get better, lots of fine-tuning where we can improve ourselves. And now after 17 games, I never actually mentioned the word playoff at all. If you remember, we talk every week. Mm-hmm. I never said that. Now being halfway there and being in first place, I think that's something obviously we and people and everybody dreams about. But looking at the table now, and I like to always push a little bit the brake. Looking at the table, it's very tight. There is 5-6 teams together by 2 or 3 points. So if you have a small series of winning games or a small series of losing games, you can drop very quickly. So we need to be very well aware of that. And for us, it's more like thinking now till the break for the leagues comes in on the 15th of July with the Miami game as the last game. So we need to really focus on that last final 6 games now before the break comes in, and then regroup, have a little break to focus on the rest of the season. But overall, I think not many people expected from us to be up there.
It has been something else, and appreciate it very much. Thank you very much for this, as always, and good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you so much.
Lutz Van den Steel, St. Louis City SC. Quick break. John Mozeliak is next.
Want to be a legendary player? It all begins at Horseshoe St. Louis Casino. Horseshoe offers all the thrills. Join the excitement on the casino floor. Tee off at the Topgolf Swing Suite. Catch the game at the sports bar. Or relax at the Four Seasons Spa. An unexpected oasis in the heart of downtown. In a quick walk from the ballpark. Horseshoe St. Louis, a Caesars Rewards destination. Legendary. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neovitin Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neovitin Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Deerbergs.
Teammates thought future Hall of Famer Jerry Kelly was nuts hanging up his glove to start a heating and air company, till they called
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly, the right man for the job.
And reach 10-year-old Jill Kelly wearing jammies in the kitchen. Jerry knows talent, they'd say, and knows it don't mean nothing without love. From Jill to today's award-winning teams, Jerry knew talent multiplied by real love and hard work, that's a grand slam.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you use the rideshare service, you're putting your life in the hands of a stranger. You're relying on them to get you safely where you need to go. But sometimes tragedies occur. And when they do, big companies like Uber and Lyft are often impossible to deal with on your own. We know how to hold these companies accountable. When you've been involved in a car crash or been a victim of assault, we're here to protect you.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com for more information.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Let's make room for 72 more families to stay together during extreme medical emergencies each day by supporting the Ronald McDonald House Charities of St. Louis Capital Campaign. Please visit rmhcstl.com and learn the ways you can donate.
Did you know that how happy you are could be related to how well you hear? According to the Better Health Institute, research shows that unaddressed hearing loss is associated with depression. Studies also show that people with hearing loss who use hearing aids often have fewer depressive symptoms, they have greater social engagement, and have improved quality of life. Therefore, having your hearing tested by an experienced audiologist is extremely important. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I recommend you contact Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler is very approachable. She has a doctorate in audiology from the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. She carries the best performing hearing aids, and Dr. Bosler is an expert on the latest technology. Make an appointment today at one of Dr. Colleen Bosler's 3 St. Louis area offices, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
This is Dan McLaughlin, inviting you to the 21st Annual Dan McLaughlin Golf Tournament to benefit the Special Education Foundation. This tournament has raised over $5 million, and 100% of the money raised has gone to children with special needs in our community. To sponsor, volunteer, or to play in the event on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club, please visit sef-stl.org. I'll see you on October 9th at Norwood Hills Country Club.
This Little Light is a new podcast hosted by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Join him as he explores falling in love with music, music education, and the creative process while interviewing the biggest names in music, like Rick Rubin.
I like things that are stripped down. I've always liked things that are stripped down. But then I can get to the point where I like something that's stripped down, and what's it like with an orchestra?
This Little Light is a presentation of Cadence 13. Subscribe and download it now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsacehardware.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. We are just about an hour away from Cardinal baseball. The Cardinals and the Mets at Citi Field in New York. And we welcome in the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. A shortened show, and that means a shorter interview with Mo as we get out of here at 11:40. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, Tommy.
Happy Father's Day to you. I know how much being a dad means to you, and you spend a lot of quality time with those great kids. Tell us about that and what that means to you.
Well, first off, thank you, and happy Father's Day to you and all our listeners. I think like anybody in this business realizes that you're not home a lot, so you travel quite a bit, and I think I'm most grateful for my wife that has to put up with my lifestyle and travel. But anytime I can be with my kids, which are older now, is something that I certainly look forward to. And they came around this morning, had some breakfast, and
and then we're all sort of going in our separate ways. But certainly grateful that I was able to spend some time with him today.
That's good. When things aren't going great, and they haven't been going great for the Cardinals, how do you keep yourself steady? I mean, how I know it's a business and you're running one, but we all get emotional about various things. How do you move forward?
I think that the toughest part of being involved in sports is the day-to-day of the ups and downs. And, like in any type of business, there's certainly some down times or where the company's not doing well and, you're trying to get yourself back up. But in baseball, we cheer on our club every day. We're excited about it. And when things don't go right, we get disappointed. And, I think my one last message to fans is we deeply care. I mean, from ownership to front office to coaches to players. I mean, nobody is taking this well, and nobody is happy to see it. And I assure everyone that's listening, we are looking at ways we can try to improve this to stop it. Clearly yesterday was nice just to get a win. Happy for Wayno to get closer to 200. But, when you're having the type of season we're having, it's not easy. And, I think sometimes when I talk about that, it can not necessarily resonate with people because their frustrations are so real. And, going to work every day is something that is more challenging when things aren't going well. But, I can't make excuses. I have to show up every day. And most importantly, I want our staff, our employees, just to know that we're going to continue to grind this out. There's no place to hide. There's nowhere to go away. So, we've got a lot of baseball left. Hopefully we can, take us another step forward today and just use that as a building block. But what we can't do is hit 5-run home runs. What we can't do is win 6 games in one day. And so you've got to remind yourself it's one day at a time.
Yeah, because, you're 6 weeks from the trade deadline, but the market is not going to develop yet. And so part of your job in the front office is also to work directly with the clubhouse, don't you? From your staff, but especially you. Can you tell me what that is like? You are working when you're spending time around the club and not necessarily outside of that realm.
Yeah, so I think my responsibility is really just about trying to keep a positive culture down there. I spend a lot of time with Oli and his staff, just trying to make sure that they understand that things will be okay. But we also have real hard conversations too on the reality of what we're seeing and what changes might need to be done. And I think that sometimes is the challenge because you might be able to identify something, but to your point, the trading deadline is still 6 weeks away. Between now and then, all 30 clubs are going to have to deal with the draft. So there's things some people will focus on. Sometimes it just takes time. But, right now, I think this is something that we have to look in the mirror. We have to accept what's happening. And that really is, from player, staff to front office and find a way to take those baby steps to something more positive.
I only have a minute left, so I guess I'll narrow this down to Tyler O'Neill. That's the one that I know that Lars Nootbaar is working his way back. Dylan's back in the lineup today. O'Neill, what's the latest on him?
Yeah, start with Lars, though. If all goes well today, likely use tomorrow as a travel day and then activated by Tuesday, obviously subject to change. Tyler O'Neill, I'm sure you read that he was transferred to the 60s, so the reason that was done is because mathematically that's when we think he's most likely to return. So I think this week and next are going to be crucial to knowing the timing of his return. He is feeling better, and from a baseball standpoint, hopefully he can really ramp that up by middle to end of this week.
Okay, thank you very much for that, and best of luck today and in your travels, and eventually to London. Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Be well.
Be well. Happy Father's Day to John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations. We take a break. When we come back, Joe Pott will take you into pregame on KMOX.
Did you know June is National Go RVing Month? And did you know RVing is more affordable than ever? Well, it is when you get your RV from Byerly RV Center, like the East to West Alta Model 1600 MRV that sleeps 4